I want to be very clear that at the end of the day, that it's a win for Michigan. Yes, style points are needed depending on what team you are and depending on who you are. But overall, it just I don't I it's one of those things. Like I think for a team like Cincinnati, like we I've seen people talking about their resume that Notre Dame is the best one that they have, and Notre Dame just lost today, and essentially they're not going to play another ranked team. So for Cincinnati, they need style points. They need to beat the teams that they're going to play by a sizable margin. But Michigan doesn't need to do that, so it just what Michigan needs to do is week by week get better, beat the team that is on their schedule, right? Like, so, for everyone who wants to talk about, Ohio State and their big win this week and the big win they had last week, well, guess what? You're not playing Ohio State next week. You're not playing Ohio State the week after that. You don't play Ohio State until, the Thanksgiving, essentially. So I don't think that, that Michigan needs to be overly concerned with, how they're winning football games. It's just improving every single week with how they operate. That I think that's going to be the key for Michigan. And as long as they continue to do that, I think they'll be. I think they will be just fine. I really don't think that Michigan, needs to be overly concerned with how they win a football game. I think they need to just be a better team this week than they were last week. And as long as you do that, I think you'll be just fine. So we'll address. So Railroad Journey says this team is confusing, playing elite on defense, then forget how to play, plays terrible on offense, then plays great. What do you say to that, my friend?
Well, for one, how's my volume? Sound better, guys?
You're good. You're good.
Sorry about that. Well, I think you got to give a lot of credit to Nebraska, especially when it comes to the criticism for the Michigan defense today. I thought their play calling was fantastic. The way that they used misdirection in the backfield, creating that threat. Um, with Martinez's legs, I thought they did a really good job and gave Michigan a dynamic that they really haven't seen all year. So you got to give Nebraska credit for that. And overall, I thought the Michigan defense did things that they've been doing all year, which was causing havoc in the backfield. This defense strongest point is their defensive line. And I thought tonight you still saw um, the defensive line more times than not win at the point of attack. I mean, there was plenty of times where, Aiden Hutchinson and Ojabo and, the rest of the guys on our line were in the backfield and Martinez and his legs just, he was able to buy time. He was able to buy time and was able to find guys down the field. And, sometimes you just got to, tip your cap to, the quarterback when he's able to do that. Now, offensively, I have to admit, I am surprised with how much the passing game has improved week to week, especially with not having, the repetitions earlier in the season. I mean, like that's tough. Now, this is essentially 2 weeks in a row, and I think the toughest games of the schedule thus far. In which we passed them more, we passed the ball more on the road than we have at home. Against weaker opponents. We're breaking in, newer guys. Cade really didn't have that much playing experience coming into this season. He only started a few games last year. So I think, it's more or less the offense kind of coming into his own, and you're seeing a different dynamic with the offense, less pound, and more balance. And so now I think what you're starting to see more or less is, as this team meets different challenges and teams with different dynamics, you're seeing a team uh, diversify itself with how it can win a game. And you'll see that throughout the course of the season. The main things, like you said, Desmond, find a way to win, right? And just move forward and build those right and good habits. And I think today, if there's anything that you take solace in, is that the mental fortitude and the mental toughness that this team showed in a tough environment to stay the course, not wilt under pressure, and find a way to get it done. Find a way to get it done. I mean, what a heads up play by by Hawkins to swoop in there. Adrian Martinez is in the pile trying to push for extra yards, and he just gets in there, pulls the ball out, and it has a presence of mind to find the ball and take off and get extra couple yards after the fumble recovery. I mean, that's heady football. That's our guys making the right mental decisions and the other team making the wrong mental decisions. And when you get to this point in the season, it's the mental mistakes, not the physical, but the mental mistakes that determines who wins the games.